Well, good evening. Welcome to another broadcast with Wind with Willie. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm not sure what your situation is at home, but I just want to take a moment to say thank you for the prayers this week for those who are outside of the state of Texas or anywhere in this area that's been hit by this freeze this week. Thank you for your prayers. Some of you may be still dealing with lack of power, lack of water, lack of electricity, lack of food, but thank you for your prayers. This shall pass. We shall get through this. So for those that are listening in other states that wasn't hit with the freeze, continue to lift Texas up in your prayers. And thank you for your service. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your encouragement. This has been an extremely challenging week, but we're still faithful, we're still hopeful, and we are still grateful. So get ready, get set, and grow. Thank you for spending part of your time with me this Saturday evening. Facebook family, obviously, make your comments, like this video, and share this with your friends and share it on your page as well. YouTube watchers, subscribe to my channel, make your comments, share this with your friends as well. We have been talking about the law of awareness. I shared with you 5 different things last week about the law of awareness, and this week's we're going to finish that because next week I have a special treat for you, and I'll share that with you in a minute. But the law of awareness says you must know yourself. I'm sorry, you know what I said? I said the law of awareness, didn't I? I need to correct myself. The law of the mirror, because I am looking in the mirror. The law of the mirror. You must know yourself to grow yourself. So retrieve that pen, retrieve that paper, and get ready to take some notes. Get ready, get set, and grow. Of course, I always like to start out with a story. Just dealing with everything that I talk about is focused on growing you, helping you become the best version of you, helping me become the best version for myself. I, we, us. Not them and they, but I, myself, and you as well. And a former community banker said, this is how he determines if he will approve or deny a farmer's loan. When a farmer comes in and he walks in with one question, he asks the farmer one question: are you fencing in or are you fencing out? Of course, the farmer looked dazed. What are you talking about? But he said if the farmer is fencing in, then he is trying to secure what he has, and he has no plan of growing or developing. He is just trying to hold on to what he has, and he seldom approve the farmer's loan because he's trying to hold on what he has. Then he asked the question, are you fencing out? If the farmer is fencing out, always, unequivocally, the farmer gets the loan because they are trying to buy more land, save some more livestock, put some more fences up. And if you are fencing in, and then what are you holding on to? If you are fencing out, that means that you are growing. The focus of the banker giving the farmer the loan, that he noticed that the farmer has an attitude of growing, of expanding versus fencing in. So the point to the story is, what are you maintaining? Do you have a mindset of fencing in, holding on to what you have, or do you have a mindset of fencing out, expanding your opportunities, expanding your growth, becoming a river and not a reservoir, not holding on to what you have, but helping someone else? And hoping that the law of the mirror will allow you to look at yourself and that you have a mindset of fencing out, growing consistently. And everything we've been talking about in the last several weeks on Win with Willie is about growing with a mindset of fencing out. So last week I shared with you 5 steps to build your self-image. The first step was guard your self-talk. Pretty easy. Talk positive to yourself. Make sure you say, get rid of those negative voices in your head. Stop comparing yourself to others. We do that consistently. Some of us do, some of us do not, but you are uniquely made. Move beyond your limited beliefs. That was number 3. Move beyond your limited beliefs. Okay, make sure you have unlimited belief. I can, and I will. And add value to others. Number 4, add value to others. When you're helping someone else, you can forget about your problems for a few moments. And right now, this has been a great week for us to add value to others because of the freeze and the weather that we had in Texas. And number 5, do the right thing, even if it's a hard thing. Don't you feel better when you do the right thing, even though you made sacrifices and it was a right thing to do? So this week, get ready for 6 through 10. Get your pen out. I'm always going to, as an educator, as a professor, I'm always going to say, get your pen out, get your note-taking device out. But more importantly, open up your mind and open up your heart to hear. Let's talk about 6 through 10. Let me give you what they are so you can write them down and then leave some blank spaces under that and under it so you can make some notes. Number 6 is practice a small discipline daily in a specific area of your life. Number 7, celebrate small victories. Number 8, embrace a positive vision for your life based on your values. And number 9 is practice a one-word strategy. And number 10, take responsibilities for your life. Let's go through number 6. Number 6, it says, practice a small discipline daily in your area of your life. You've heard this cliche before. You can eat an elephant. Yes, you can. But you eat an elephant one bite at a time. It's going to take some time. You're going to chop down a tree. It's going to take some time. Practice that discipline daily in your life. Let me say it this way. Discipline gives you that sense of accomplishment and self-esteem. Discipline is your morale builder. So if something in your life that is very difficult for you to do and you know you need to do it, work at it daily. See, it's the motivation that gets you going, but it's the discipline that keeps you growing. And that discipline becomes your morale builder, because the more you discipline yourself, the more you encourage in your mind to do so. So take those small steps every day, consistently. It's called compound interest. Eventually, you will devour the elephant. Eventually, you will chop down the difficult tree. Eventually, you will solve the problem in your life. Eventually, but it's the discipline. You get excited about it. It's the motivation that gets you there, gets you started. But it's the discipline, even when you don't feel like it. So make sure you do so. Those daily discipline. And guess what? You might get halfway through the tree and realize that, man, I'm halfway there. That's a small victory. So learn to celebrate those small victories in your life. That's why we have graduations. That's why we have kindergarten graduations. That's why we have sometimes junior high graduations, high school graduations, birthday parties, anniversaries, all those different things. You celebrate those victories in your life. They are self-esteem, self-image builders. They are morale builders. So take time to celebrate. I know sometimes we get extremely busy. We don't take time to celebrate, but I want to help us develop that self-image in my life and develop that self-image in your life. Listen to this saying about that, celebrate those small victories. Well, it's about time. I didn't do as much as I should have. That won't make a difference. It's hopeless. I'll never succeed. That's negative. But switch that around to this. It's a good that I did that. I did the right thing. Good for me. Every little bit helps. I am that much closer to my success. course, if you had that first thought, remove that and embody that second thought into your mind. Every little bit helps. I am closer to my success. I keep improving every day. So don't underestimate the power of those celebrations. Don't underestimate the power of those little steps every day. Don't underestimate of that small bite on that elephant every day. Eventually, you will be closer to success. That was number 7. Number 8, this is so important, and they all are important, but embrace that positive life stance or that positive vision based on your values or what's valuable to you. If you've been embodied and exposed to a lot of negativism, you need to find a way to remove yourself from that because that's hampering and hindering your growth. But if you take a positive stance on your life based on your values and what you have placed value into, then you work towards that. That encourages you. That's your motivation. That's your high. That's your plateau. That's where you're going. That's where you see yourself going. And every day you're working towards that, because no matter what happens, and when you have those fallbacks and those stumbling blocks and those failures, because you have placed what you're reaching for and your goals in your life that is valuable to you, in spite of those obstacles, in spite of those shortcomings, you still achieve and you still work towards that level of success. Let me tell you what I placed the value on many years ago, a short story about, it's called The Value of the X. Now, you say it's not a mathematical equation. It is an X equation, which is in the alphabet, which was placed on my birth certificate. And my father could not read and write. I did not know that until my mother gave me my birth certificate to enter the Air Force when I was 19 years of age. And I saw that X on my birth certificate. And at that moment, it was a paradigm shift. At that moment, I realized that my father could not read and write. And now I start reflecting back. He would ask me to read things, or he would tell me to read, for me to practice my reading. And I now know why. I didn't know that. But that moment, I made a decision, because I had 6 brothers and 6 sisters. And only out of the 12 kids, only 6 of us graduated high school. So literacy and education was not part of my culture, was not part of my growing up. And so I made a decision at that day that literacy was going to be part of my value system. And to this day, I am still educating myself. Everything around me, the people I surround myself, is based on education and literacy and that value system. I have multiple values, of course, but that is significantly important to me, is education, because education opens many doors and gives us opportunities to do multiple things in our life, gives us options when you are educated. And this is one I use quite often as well, especially it's called that practice that one word strategy. What do you mean, Professor Jeff? One word strategy. Well, what do you think about yourself? What do you think about yourself? I ask you to give me one word to describe yourself. What would that word be? I hope the word is not negative. When I was teaching Air Force Junior ROTC, I will always start my students out on day one. When they walk into the classroom, we spend the first couple of weeks just getting to know each other. But I do the I am game. I, and then the letter AM, and draw a line on the board and ask those students to give me one word to describe themselves. You would be surprised what I will hear, because they are repeating what they have heard from their sphere of influence. And most of those words were negative. And so at that moment, I'm start shifting that paradigm with them to start describing themselves in a positive way, because the way you see yourself is the way others are going to see you. If you're positive, you attract positivity. If you're negative, you attract negativity. And so I basically said, how do you see yourself? And if they can come up with a word, I would give them a word, something very positive. You are intelligent, you are bright, you're smart, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're prosperous. All those aspects, how you see yourself. I am gifted, I am blessed, I am wonderfully made. How would you describe yourself? How do I describe myself? Ask yourself that question if you was given that one word opportunity to describe yourself, because the way you see yourself is the way others would see you as well, because that is what you would give out to the world and those around you. So make sure you describe yourself in a positive way. That was number 9, that positive, what I call that a one word strategy. You can get up every morning. I am significant. I am successful. I am wonderful. I am great. I am handsome. All the above. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I got exposed to a lot of negativity when I was growing up. And it was one aunt, my mother's youngest sister, my youngest aunt, had a little boy. She eventually was the first one that ever told me that I was handsome. Now, whatever you think, I'm handsome or not, it doesn't matter what you think, is what I think. And she planted that seed in me. Jeffrey, you're handsome. And that stayed with me, because the image I had of myself prior to that, what I heard that other people called me, the other words, I won't repeat them right now, but that one word stayed with me. Number 10, take responsibility for your life. Step up to the plate. You tend to get in life what you tolerate. You tend to get in life what you tolerate. Take responsibility for your life. If you allow folks around you to disrespect others, guess what? You eventually will get disrespected. If you allow others to abuse others, guess what'll happen? Because you'll get abused. You start tolerating that behavior. Speak up, step up, take responsibility for your life. Model the expectations that you so desire in others. I've heard this cliche before, and I hear it quite often in other eras in my life. It said, I'd much rather see a sermon than hear a sermon. I'd much rather see the model than hear the verbiage. I want to see action. And you become that action. I become that action. I become that sermon that other people can see. Take responsibility for my action. Take responsibilities for my life. Stay victorious. Most people don't know what you're going through. They don't know your story, even though they see your glory, but they don't know your story. And share your story, because those stories become overcomers, and they become your testimony to help others overcome their situation. Because you say, I can, I did, and these are some circumstances that I was subjected to as a young person, and here I am today. Here I am today, becoming and continually becoming an overcomer, rising to the top, rising to the top. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen, men and women, let me remind you what we talked about the last couple of weeks. The law of the mirror, very powerful. Michael Jackson canned that song many years ago, The Man in the Mirror. And I'm not going to sing it. I tried singing it last week. At least I shared some of the lyrics, which was not very good. But just talk about it this way. Guard your self-talk. Stop comparing yourself to others. Move beyond the limited belief. Add value to others. Do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing. Practice that small discipline daily in a specific area in your life. Celebrate those small victories. And I would tell you, I kind of struggle with that one, celebrate, because I don't like to celebrate that much. But embrace that positive vision of your life based on what you value the most. Practice that one word strategy and take responsibilities for your life. Hey guys, that's the law of the mirror. But I want you to tune in next week, because I have a special treat for you next week. I'll be introducing the book that I am one of the co-authors in. And let me share that book right now. I want you to take a look at that. It's called In Her Boots, Sexual Assault Prevention and Recovery Strategies. I am one of the contributing authors to this book. There's 8 of us, and we all are retired United States military enlisted and officers that contributed to this book. And I want you to take a look be with us, because I'm going to bring those authors on this broadcast next week, and we're going to talk about the book. But prior to, this is what I want you to do. You can actually go and purchase the book right now if you so desire. Matter of fact, I want you to. Very, very important, because this book is very, very important. We have a lot of issues right now with sexual assault, not only in the military, but also in the civilian sector as well. But in her boots is prevention strategies and recovery. Stop before it happens. Help our leaders take proactive steps in their company, in their organizations, in their squadrons, in their battalions across this globe, across this country, prevent sexual assault and sexual harassment. So In Her Boots is very, very powerful. So I want you to purchase the book. And let me just make sure, In Her Boots, Sexual Assault Prevention and Recovery Strategies. Absolutely. So please be with us next week so I can introduce these authors to you. And by the way, all of the authors are ex-Army or retired Army, and I'm the only Air Force. So you got to come listen. Absolutely. But there's some great, phenomenal men and women that has contributed to this book. And we want this book to be all over in every organization, in every military organizations, in every company. Every leader needs to hear this book as well. But guess what I want you to do? Let me just say thank you to the folks that have subscribed to my book club, that's been listening to this broadcast and have subscribed to my book club. I have you now connected to my Facebook page so we can discuss the book. And the book we're discussing right now is How Successful People Think. That's what we're discussing right now. And I want you to join my book club. I want you to be part of this growth journey with us, How Successful People Think. And we'll be going through a book per month and just talking about it on Facebook and sharing and helping each other grow. So please join my book club. And I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. But visit my website and you'll see my YouTube channel there. But I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. This is it, folks, for this week. I want to thank you for tuning in. Please share this video with others. Please join my book club so we can grow together. How Successful People Think. As a Man Thinketh. We're currently right now studying the 15th invaluable laws of growth. But I want you to be part of this growth journey. Let's grow together. Become a river, not a reservoir. Thank you, and I'll see you next week. Get ready, get set, and grow.